Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I can see that a few people has joined us. Please let me know in the comments if I'm audible, if you can hear me. Good evening, good evening. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session. I'm so excited to have everyone on board. Welcome from wherever parts of Africa, whatever part of the world you are joining from. It is good to have you all here on board for the 11th session of the AWS Study Series. I'm so excited, and I believe we all are excited here this evening. So, welcome everyone once again. My name is Chelsea Ifedinezi, and I'm joining from Lagos, Nigeria, and I will be your anchor slash moderator slash host for today. So I want to meet everyone that is on the live right now. So you can use the chat, tell me your name and where you're joining from so that I can give you a big welcome. So I'm super excited and super pumped for the session today. I'm so excited. I don't know if anybody's as excited as I am because today's topic is going to be really insightful. I already know that it's going to be really insightful, it's going to be really spectacular. So I can't even wait to jump right into the session. Hi, Elias. If I pronounced that correctly. That's from Nigeria. Welcome. Yeah, I'm from Nigeria too. It's great to have you here. It's great to see you. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate. So let me know your name and where you're joining from in the comments. Yes, Israel from Nigeria. I see you. Thank you for joining. Welcome. Thank you so much. So guys, like I said earlier, my name is Chelsea Ifedinezi. For those of us that are just joining, I've introduced myself. My name is Chelsea and I will be a moderator for today. So I want to believe that we all know the topic for today, right? Which is secure data sharing with AWS Transfer Family. So if you're an AWS enthusiast, like me, I'm sure that you'll be really excited because I've been hearing a lot about AWS Transfer Family, but today I get to really understand the concept and how it works, and I'm really excited. So, and the fascinating part about today's topic is that we are not just looking at the tool, but we are looking at the secure way of using this tool. So I'm sure we all know that most of the major concern for companies and organizations today is security, because if a company hears about this tool, AWS Transfer Family, they want to know while transferring my data over whatever protocol, is it going to be secure? Am I guaranteed that security is something that this tool can give me? So that is what we'll be looking at today. We'll be looking at the security aspect of using the tool AWS Transfer Family, and I'm really excited. So I want to urge you all, get your pen, get your jotters so that you can jot things down. All right, so if we have done that, I will soon be introducing the speaker. Well, before I do that, let me just give a few shout outs to some people. I can see a lot of people have joined. I can see Samuel from Lagos. I can see Rashid from Nigeria. I can see Imo from Nigeria. I can see Abiola. I can see Chibike. I can see Frank Felix. Wow. Welcome. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for bringing out your time to join us this evening. I'm super excited. All right. So before I bring up our speaker, I just want to put it out there said that, there will be a giveaway session at the end of today's series, right? So once we are done with the session today, once the speaker is done speaking, there will be a giveaway session. So if you want to participate in this giveaway session and you want to stand a chance to win a prize, then please stay to the end, because I promise you it's going to be worth a while. Okay, there are going to be a lot of key takeaways to leave here with today. So um I'll be introducing our speaker now. Our speaker is no other person than Ifeanyi Obiana. And Obiana is a senior DevOps engineer and an AWS community builder. Yes, he's a big deal. It's quite a big deal in the DevOps industry, if you know what I'm saying. So, you can come up now. So he'll be taking us today in today's session, which is secure data sharing with AWS Transfer Family and S3. So who is excited, please? You can put it in the chat if you're excited. Hi, Ifeanyi. Can you
Hi,
hear me?
everyone.
All
Yeah, I
right.
can hear you. I can hear you. Hi,
So
everyone.
thank you so much for
If
joining
I
us
bye.
today. All right.
Thank you very
So I'll
much.
be leaving the floor for you. Over to you.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for joining this session with us today. I'm Ifeanyi, a DevOps engineer joining from Nigeria. So I'm not sure about the senior that she said, Cha. I'm still learning by the way, like all of us here on the call. And today I'm just going to share my small take on using an AWS service called Transfer Family. Sorry. So it's going to be brief, and I wish it was an interactive session, by the way. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot to learn in this about security, why we should implement secure transfer in our organization, not even just our organization, even our personal communication, and how to prevent like cyber threats to our data, and yeah, the cloud adoption of using secure server for transfer family. So I'm going to go ahead and just kick this off by sharing my screen. Um, can anybody see my screen? Chelsea, please, if you can see my screen, can you help me out? Okay. Can anybody see my screen? Chelsea, can you see my screen? Sorry. Okay. Okay, perfect. So today's topic, we are going to be talking about secure data sharing with AWS Transfer Family and S3. Um, Before I go ahead, I will be showing us our agenda for today. First of all, we're going to be talking about how transfer family protocols safeguard data. We'll be talking about why we should secure our file sharing, why file sharing is critical in business and personal communication. We'll be looking at common protocols, the FTP, the SFTP, the FTPS, and the AS2. We'll talk about the managed file transfer. We'll talk about the cloud managed file transfer. We'll talk about AWS family. We would mention common cases and scenario where we can use this transfer family to help secure our data, and we'll jump right into the demo. So before I kick this off, we all know what file transfer is, right? It's basically moving data and file from one location to another. Typically, this is done with a computer system, yeah, and we know this is essential because you want to be able to like transfer information to somebody across the world over the internet. So why is do are we trying to implement security? Why are we trying to safeguard our data? That's something that it's very, very common. It's something that everybody should think about, which we all know that we want our data secure, we want our data reliable, we don't want like access for cyber criminals to come in and get details from our data, just manipulate the data in a way. So that's why we need to implement these safeguards. In an era of today, we don't just say security is a good to have, it's a necessity. So it's important we put this into place, right? And that's why I'm here on this call to just like give a brief talk about security in terms of file transfer. So first of all, when we are talking about understanding how file transfer protocol safeguard data, we'll talk about the encryption side of it. We want our data encryption. We want our data encrypted so that we can send secure data from the client to the server, or from the server to the client, or for a target destination, from a source destination to a target destination. We want to implement authentication. We want the integrity of our data to maintain in place. We want compatibility. We don't want to send our data and before you reach our end users, something must have happened to it. It must have changed. We want so that our data can conform with compliances like these regulatory bodies, policies out there. We want our data to conform with them. We don't want in such a way our data is not compliant, it's not best practices. So we need to put this in place. And basically that's why we need to understand why should we put this in place. We want our communication, we want our user data to be private. I don't think anybody wants to be communicating with somebody and the thought of, oh, someone can access my data somewhere. No, we all want that privacy. We all want that compliance. That's why we need to implement security into this. So here I'm just going, this slide I'm going to talk about, oh, why is critical in business and personal communication. So as I said, as a individual, both business and a personal individual, as a business, let me start off with being as a business. As a business, you are probably like your clients is other businesses or customers. So it's important for you to implement this security in place. One of those reasons is first of all protecting their confidentiality. You don't want their personal information out there in such a way their credit card information is out there, their personal password is out there, or just at least legal documents between you and the business. You don't want it out there. So as a business, it's best that you put this into consideration. You have to implement this security because if you don't, then it doesn't stay well about your business. You want to also maintain their privacy, right? You want to find a way to ensure that your business meets that compliancy. You want to prevent data breach, like nobody coming into your business and being able to like access personal or sensitive file. You want to build trust with your fellow business. Say, yes, you guys' data are safe with me. We can protect it. It's not going anywhere. It's not out in the internet. So as a business, it's critical to implement security. Then as a personal individual, all of us here, we use social media, right? We send personal chats, right? We don't want to send like a document across, whether a personal conversation through WhatsApp, and you then start hearing that, oh, somebody somewhere was able to access that document. He went into our accounts, probably hacked or changed some settings. No, it means that that platform is not safe. And once we discover that this platform is not safe, we start to run away from it. We want something secure. So it's important to implement secure file sharing, both business wise and personal wise. So next slide. We are talking about common protocols here. So um, initially, I would say we started off with the first protocol for file transfer protocol, which is the FTP. I believe everybody here knows, like, I probably have heard about FTP. It's just a way of sending file from one place to another using like a file transfer protocol. Basically, the name explains it here. And STP was originally used to send these files, but then it was found out that it was not secure, right? And we needed to like improve on that security. So what we have another upgraded version of the file transfer protocol where we implemented security. So there are two of them. We have the SFTP, which uses a secure shell. That's the encryption passes through the SSH protocol port. And we have the SFTPS, which uses another secure encryption, which passes through the SSL and TSL. Both of them both work on they have their different channels, right? And their different ports. So, but this time around, there are there are security protocol that have been put in place to like strong and tighten any breach that is coming to your file. We also have another protocol, which is the AS2. Um, this is mostly used when you are working with EDI messages, right? It uses the HTTPS ports, but it's another secure way of transferring our file. It's more modern than our traditional FTP, SFTP, FTPS. But yeah, these are all the protocols that we use to send file across the internet. So now I'm going to be talking about the managed file transfer and the cloud managed file transfer. So think of the managed file transfer as you hosting your um, on-premise server, right? That you're using for the file transfer protocol. And then the cloud one is the cloud adaptation for it. Like all those managed stuff that you're supposed to host on-premise is taken to the cloud for you. So that's just like the simple part of it. If you decide to like use your laptop now as a server for your FSTP server, like as an SFTP server, that's like you managing the server itself, the patching, the security, everything is done by you. But now, when you move that workload to the cloud, it's more like the cloud have done the heavy burden for you. The compliances, the security, the encryption, everything is done for the cloud. It's a very, very easy and seamless integration. So you need to understand, oh, am I running my server on premises? Am I running in the cloud? Or what's the benefit of running in the cloud compared to running on premises, which we are going to look at. We're going to look at right now. So yeah, we have the further into the topic, we have the manage and the cloud. So as I said, for the managed transfer, we have a centralized control where you have like control on everything, the underlying control, you manage it, like everything is done. You set it up, the patching, the scaling, or everything is on you. But moving into the cloud, you have a fully managed services. The cloud provider does that for you. The scaling is done for you. The patching is done for you. The security is done for you. The encryption, every single thing is done for you. All you just have to do is an easy setup, and you have your dedicated server there. So also the managed file transfer, it's mostly done on premises, as I mentioned, or a form of like hybrid deployment, right? Maybe like, oh, I have a server in this location, and then probably have one in the cloud, and then we'll be managing the hybrid deployment for the secure transfer. But on the cloud, we have everything fully on the cloud. It's scalable. You can it's elastic. It can go up, go down. The moment that you're lacking resources, the cloud provider automatically scales it for you. You don't need to be worried about like securing more servers to try to scale, which also it comes with cost. So we have high compliances and security, which involves you making sure at all time that your on-premise file transfer is secure. The security, the compliances, everything is you. You have to be worried, oh, is my security good? Is my security in place? Am I complying with government regulations, their policy, which can be stressful. But why not just move it to the cloud? It's fast, it can integrate with so many other services. The compliances is done for you, the security is done for you. All you just have to do is just a very simple setup. So with this comparison, you can already see like the benefit of using the cloud side of it compared to the on-premise side of it. So what challenges do one have when using a managed file transfer? And the first thing I want to talk about is cost. So once you come to cost, we talk about server maintenance. Server maintenance is something that we might think that, oh, it's just maintaining server and all. It's not easy. It takes cost, right? And we want to eliminate that. We talk about scaling. Oh, we have to get another server, add to this server so that we can increase our capacity. We talk about the uptime. Oh, for some reason, something happened to our server. We are no longer up. This is not what we want to be hearing. These are challenges managing it yourself, like you see, right? And we want to just find a way to seamlessly just like find a cloud provider that can host all this for us and they will manage everything. All we just have to do is, again, move our workload from our on premise system to the cloud. Then we talk about security as a challenge, the patching, the key rotation, the access control. It's important. It's important we constantly patch that server. It's important we rotate our key. You don't want a key that is lasting so long. It's not best practices. Then access control is another important thing. So in as much as you are seeing this, oh, it's just patching, it's just key rotation, it's just access control, it's also burden, it's work, it's stressful, right? And just to be thinking about it, trying to make sure at all times this security is put in place. It might seem like it's just security. I promise you it's not. So it's important that our system is highly secure, and this comes as a big challenge. So we also have compliances, right? You need to like be going through auditing the log, encryption management, just to meet up with the regulations, right? So these are challenges you face when running this like on premises when managing it yourself. So how do we like prevent that? How do we move away from that? So introducing transfer family. So what is transfer family? As you can see on our screen, Transfer Family is a secure transfer service that enables you to transfer file in and out of AWS storage. Simple, right? And the key point I want you guys to take here is that first of all, is a fully managed service that comes with those protocols that I shared, the FTP, the SFTP, the FTPS, and the AS2. It comes with it and it's fully managed. So you don't need to worry about the whole patching security stuff. It's already there for you. You don't worry about infrastructure. You don't worry about scaling. It's also integrated with so many services, but the important one here is the storage because we are talking about moving data, right? So they have native storage services on AWS for you that you can easily integrate this. Couple of storages you might see there, S3, EFS, right? And with this additional S3 storage, which is an unlimited storage on AWS, it's scale. You can like transfer up to 5 terabytes of single data, right, to S3. So the benefit is a scalable workflow that you're running here. You don't need to worry about anything. Everything is done for you, right? Another importance of like moving to AWS Transfer Family is that you can use your existing client's workflow. You don't even need to change anything to your application, right? It's a seamless migration, just like connecting the application, moving it from your on-premise server and transferring it to AWS Transfer Family, and everything is done for you with ease. Then setting up these services that connects to each other is very easy. It doesn't take time to set. I mean, you guys will see it on the demo that I'm going to display here. So yeah, with these key points, like you understand that it's a very, very important and powerful service out there, and it also takes the burden and the heavy lifting for you. And I would advise anybody to move their secure server to AWS. Features of the transfer family. As I said, we have the multiple protocol, which I'm showing on the screen. We have end-to-end encryption. It uses the TLS, We have encryption in transit, we have encryption at rest. It uses the S3 encryption. You can have your own encryption placed in. You can use the AWS encryption service, which is the KMS, to integrate with this. Then we have audit trails where you can see what's happening in the server, you can see what's happening in your storage. You have services like CloudWatch, S3 Access Log, yeah, and a lot of services that helps you like see an insight into what this is doing or what you're consuming. Anything is out there. And I also say they are integrated with AWS storage services, the S3 and the EFS. And then lastly, AWS manages your underlying server. There is no EC2 for you to SSH in and start patching it. AWS does it for you. So we now I want to talk about a couple of scenario use cases of like organizations that are using AWS Transfer Family. So one of them is DXC Technology, right? They are an IT and finance organization. They help their clients with things like this. So one of their testimony is that their clients were running hybrid architecture, right? And they were doing a lot of management for the transfer family, which was a bit stressful for them, right? They had to manage the on-premise server and a lot of things, and they just wanted a way to just plug it to a server that is existing on cloud, and everything is done for them. And with that, they were able to remove their own on-premise server, move everything to AWS, which they cut down on cost. Everything was seamlessly deployed. They were able to modernize their cloud adaptation by using Transfer Family and S-String. Another organization that currently using Transfer Family is FICO, right? So they are like a credit system, they're a credit system organization, and they were really like inquiring a lot of on-premises costs. They wanted to cut down on this cost. They wanted to automate their workflow. So they moved to AWS Transfer Family, which had other existing services that could benefit them, because then they get to use like the step function, the Lambda function, and then do some form of data analysis. They did some data extraction, transformation, loading, and everything was automated, right? That way, they found a way to go multi-region with this seamless deployment. Um, Another company, which is the T System, also facing similar to DXC technologies, they were also running legacy on-premise infrastructure, which they needed to modernize their application. So there was more like a cloud adaptation, and they are moving to AWS Transfer Family. They've, so moving helped them cut costs significantly, and it helped them really, really like um, it helped them save a lot in terms of cost, right? They didn't also have to worry about scaling because scaling was done. So we have companies out there that are using Transfer Family, right? And it's been working for them, right? So now you don't need to worry about security. Basically, it's a really good service to have. There's so many companies out there that are adopting it. Even if you think about a lot of WordPress out there, you would see that behind the hood they are using Transfer Family. So there's so many use cases for Transfer Family out there, and basically it just helps you with security. And also by coming to the cloud, you get additional benefits. Um, so here is a high-level architectural diagram on where we'll be using Transfer Family. You can see that the diagram is simple. We have our user sending our data to Transfer Family, which send it to the storage service, right? It passes through a VPC endpoint, which has like a security group that can help like restrict access to this Transfer Family, right? The architecture is not hard. Transfer Family is not hard to set up, right? And you guys are going to be seeing it in our demo, which should be, yeah, our demo. Our next slide. Um, So for our demo, I'm going to be sharing my AWS account to set up Transfer Family so that you guys can see the capability. So first off, um, in the diagram I shared, we want to create a network and other components that lets us access our server. So for this demo, I've already created a VPC already, one availability zone, a public and a private subnet, and maybe for more details, you can see it here, and it's passing through the internet gateway. So I would also create a security group that uses our VPC so that we can allow access through the internet. Uh, TPSG, um, just simple description, allow access to file. Okay, and we select our VPC that we created, which is the SFTP VPC, and create our security group. So we have our security group here in place. It's over here. Next, we want to create an elastic IP that will be used for our demo. Come here. Um, I think this is simple. And we associate. So we have our VPC over here. We have our security group created, and we have our elastic IP. Next, we would go ahead and create our storage. So for this demo, I'm going to be using the S3 and show you how I'll be creating an S3 bucket for us, and the transfer family will send the file to the S3 bucket. So our S3, we just give it a random name, uh, SMTP server um, test bucket, so maybe. Okay, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll leave the settings at default. Okay, so we have our bucket in place. Next, I want to create two folders, and the idea is we are a business and we have multiple clients or multiple vendors, and we want them to be able to transfer data into their individual folders, right? So each business or each vendor is restricted to his own folder, right? And we don't want another business being able to access, but this time we just have one bucket for that. So I'm going to be creating two folder for client A and for client B. Client A folder, and create it. And then I have another folder for client B. Uh, Client B has his own folder. As simple as that. We already have our storage, like just creating an S3 bucket and folders for our clients. So we just will go ahead and go and create our server, transfer family. Oh shit, sorry. Yes. Transfer family. And here you can see that they are asking us, oh, what protocol do you want to enable? You can enable the FTP, the FTPS, the AS2, as well as the SFTP. So for this demo, I'll be going with the SFTP server, which uses the secure shell. And next, I'll be selecting a service manage option. Okay. And then for this, I created my VPC. So we want the internet to be passing through our VPC through our security group, which I'll select here. So you have two options to use an internal and the internet facing, right? And if you select for the internal, you can transfer from within AWS itself, right? But it will not be publicly accessible through the internet, right? And you would have to specify it on a private subnet because everything is internal. But once you go with internet facing, they are saying that you want to be able to transfer from one system somewhere to AWS, right? The user can access that family over the internet. So I'll be going with the internet facing for this demo. And then we have our VPCs. So what I'm going to do here is going back to check my VPC. So okay, 8F6C, 8F6C. So this is the VPC we created for the transfer family, saying that we must select at least one subnet. My VPC was created in one availability zone, and then for the subnet, these two subnets here, one is the private, one is the public subnet, just as I mentioned. So we come to check, let's check our public subnet ID. So for our public subnet ID, we have it ending with 04F2. That's what we are going for, 04F2. And then for our IP address, we'll go for the elastic IP we just created. And then the security group is showing us we should use the default security group from the VPC, but I want to use my personal security group I created. So I'm going to select that. In case you want to create security group on the go, you could select create it here. Well, I've already done that. And here is telling us, oh, this is the port numbers that we are going to be running. Alternative ports, we have the 22, 2222, and so on. So have everything good. Next. Then our storage service is asking us, do you want S3? Do you want EFS? I created an S3 bucket, so I'll not be using EFS for this demo. I'll be going with S3. I'm fine with this. Then for the login, we can say, yeah, create a new log group. If you have an existing log group, you could select it here and do the drop down. But for this, I wanted to create a new log group. And then you can specify the rules and all. But that's if you are trying to do like a workflow, right? You can put like a manage workflow and automate some things here with transfer family, but that's out of scope for this demo. And then for the cryptographic algorithm, this SFTP, they use a cryptographic hash function for their encryption. So it's basically saying, oh, what algorithm, what like security do you want to go with? And time to time they update this, as you can see. And I would always say go for the latest one, right? Which I'll come and I'll select the 2025 one. Then, in case you have multiple private keys, you could select this, you could put your tag. All this can be left as default. It's not really needed. Next. So before we review and create this, our protocol is in place, manage, service manage, okay. Our VPC is good, our security group is good, our subnet is good, our domain is S3, additional information. I think everything checks out. So I'll create this server. So this should create for you a server, and it will take a couple of minutes. But before our server is done, I want to create the SSH key pair because SFTP, as I said, uses the secure shell, the um, which passes through port 22. So it uses the private and the public key. We'll need this for authentication into the server, and I need to create this. So let me get the command to do this. Let me make my screen bigger for you guys to see. Okay. So paste this. Sorry, there's a asterisk in front of there. Paste this. So it's generating our public and private key, and it's asking us where do you want to save this. I'll just leave it in this folder as default, and then for the paraphrase I'll just leave it as default. Then we can cd into our folder and do an ls where you see our public key and our private key. So we have that, right? And I want to move it to a folder that, because we'll be using a file transfer client, which for this use case, I'll be using FileZilla to connect to our server. So I created a dedicated folder to save um, these keys, Study Series 11. So that's where I'm going to be saving public and private key. Yeah. I'll move it to the folder again. Have to command replace. Okay. There's still an asterisk. Let's copy this. And just replace it over here. So this will copy um, the public key, and then I'll come over and copy the private key as well. So if we cd into that folder, we should see both of them here. Okay, so we have our private key and our public key over here, which is good. So let's go back to AWS to see if our server is done. So you can see here that our server is starting up. It has been created, and our server is online. So it didn't take time for us to like launch this server. If you see, probably less than 5 minutes, and we have our server. So for us to successfully like authenticate into the server, we need to create a user, right? And that's what we have to do. So as I mentioned before, I created two folders for our clients. Yes, right. That's it right there. Okay. I have my client A and my client B. So I'm going to create two users. We can call it user A or user one and user B. So it's asking us for access to our storage, right? What do we want this user to be able to do with our storage, right? You want this user to be able to put files, delete files, list files. You just like state. So this is one of the benefits of using transfer function. You want the user to be able to delete an item, you can just say, oh, I want it to be able to put an item there and list an item. But then it's the importance of like using transfer family to me. It's natively integrated with IAM, which you can use to define your access control. For our case here, I don't have a role yet. I don't have a policy. So I'm just going to like create that before I come over here. So I'll go ahead and create my policies first. Um, okay, so you can come here, select what services, and create a policy. Well, I already have like a JSON policy prepared on the side. So I'm just going to copy and paste that and create that policy. So currently this policy does more than what I want. But yeah, just for this demo, I want to show you guys the full functionality. So we also want to come here and copy the ARN of our buckets and use it to replace the one I had there, which just as well as this. So from seeing this policy, you can see that we have access to our S3 bucket that we created and to the resource that the bucket that we just created. I use the ARN to specify the exact bucket. And also this asterisk is like telling us, oh, we can do everything to every object inside that bucket. So I'm just going to come here and hit next. And it's asking us for a policy name, which you can say SFTP policy. Okay, SFTP is 3 policy. I like that name. And then let's just copy. Please always give a good description, right? So that you can easily spot your policies. Then I create this. So if we search this, we should see our policy here. And since we have our policy in place, we can go ahead and create the role that our policy will assume. Come here and hit create. I need to ask you, AWS services, obviously, because we are trying to access one AWS service to the other, transfer family to S3. So we can come here and say what AWS services assuming this role, which is transfer family. So the tricky thing here is that they don't really write it transfer family, they just write it transfer, right? Which you would know that maybe if you have like read the documentation, you'll spot this out. And it's asking us what policy do we want to use for this role. Uh, and we have our policy we created previously. And then, yeah, we'll give our role a name, SFTP. Um, yeah, let's just give it a random name. As for our role, I like this name. And we create our role, which if we confirm here, we can see our row over here. I got the name. It's okay. Um, so we have our policy, we have our row. We can go back to creating our user. So we refresh this, and they ask us what row. We specify the row we just created, and if you ask us the policy, you can either use none, auto generate from the home folder, or select a policy from IAM, which I created a policy. Okay, I didn't refresh it, so it hasn't synced yet. Okay, this is our policy over here. We can view our policy, by the way, just for you to see the JSON schema of it. And then for our home directory, it's basically our S3 bucket, right? We would select the S3 bucket we created previously, SFTP test bucket 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, yeah, this is basically saying what folder did you want this to access, right? And if you want it just to access the whole entire bucket, you don't need to specify anything here. But if you want, as I previously mentioned, we are having a dedicated client or vendor to his own folder, right? And that vendor will see that folder as his root directory in the server and is able to upload something, delete something into that. So we want to specify the folder for user A, which I created as client A. So I'm just going to copy this and come over here and paste this, but we remove the forward slash. So in a case where you want more, you just want to specify that user to be able to access this folder within that. This is what you do, right? If you have another folder within this, you do it, and so on and so on and so on. But for my case, I just wanted to access the client A as the root folder, and we'll toggle this restricted. We click it. So it's saying that this user cannot leave above this folder. It can't leave up this folder. Like it's restricted to only this folder. So if we have multiple clients, multiple folders, we come and turn on their restriction. It uses one S3 bucket, but it only work on their own folder. And obviously you can kick off some workflow from there. So next off, this is asking us for SSH public key, which we created, right? Going back to our terminal, we have our public key over here as this. So I just want to cut the contents of our public key and copy it and paste. Simple as that. Down to here. Sorry. And yeah, we can paste this. Then tags if you wish, and add the user. So our user have been successfully created, right? If you come here, service manage user, you see one. If you go into the details of the server, you can see, let's scroll down, you see our user has one user, user A, which is restricted to his home directory. We assume that role, and the public key is one. So you can specify a lot of things here and make changes and all. But our user have been added. So we can choose to come here and create a second user. Um, but I think basically we understand that our user is only going to access his own folder. So I want to like see if this works. So now test our functionalities. Or we have our server set up. We have our users. Can we access our server now since it's running? So for the FTP clients, I mentioned I'm going to be using FileZilla to be able to connect to my FTP server. And here you can see my local machine, right? Put this down. You can see my local machine and all my contents. And then to the right hand side is where our server is supposed to be. But currently we are not connected to any server. So we are going to add this to this client. And we create a new site. We can rename the site. Let's say call it client A site, just for simplicity. And we select our protocol. What protocol are we using? SFTP. Then for the host, we will come over here and copy the endpoints of our server. We want to paste it. We have the endpoints, the ports, you can specify 22 since our STP running for there, but I'll leave it to like select the port. Since he already knows it's SFTP, it will use the default 22 port, unless you are using a different port mapping. And for our login type, we want to use key file. And user, we have our username as user A. And for the key file, we browse to the directory. As I mentioned, we had it on saved in a dedicated directory I created, study series 11. Oh, this shit. How do you go up the directory? Oh, okay. And we select our private key, which is this file over here. Okay. So it has everything we need to proceed. And we hit connect. So you can see the events here. So it's trying to connect to that server, right? And it's connecting to the endpoint, which is the host. But if you can notice something, we are not able to connect. And that was intentional, right? And problem here, connection timeout after 20 seconds of inactivity. I basically said, oh, if you look at this, you would see that it's trying to connect on port 22. And seeing that already, I already know that I did not specify that in my security group. So I'm going to come over here to where I created my security group, and this is the security group we created. So what I need to do now is to create the inbound rule on 20, port 22. And I come here and state add rule. So if you remember, it's running on SSH and it autofills the port for us or source anywhere IP4, the description, we can leave it as blank and we save rule. So we have our inbound rule that we have set, and I believe we should be able to connect to the server. So we want to go and initiate a connection again here to see if this works. So everything is working here and we hit connect. So you can see that it's connecting and it's showing using user A connected to the endpoint, retrieving directory, listing directory, and successful. So from here already, you can see that we are already in our server. It showed up here, um, which is a good thing, right? We have been able to establish permissions. We have the right permissions to access our server as user A, which was the help of IAM, and it gives us an empty directory, right? So from this now, a user or a client is able to transfer his data from his local machine into this file, right? I can come here and like select, oh, what do I want to move? Do I want to move a document? Or let's just try to simulate something to see. So if I come here, I just put a simple test.py here, and it's showing that it's uploading that file to the server, and you can see it here, right? By the way, this is just a simple use case. The idea is to like automate this process and transfer large files, right? That your company used to maybe like as a backup or something. Um, sorry, sorry, I don't know why it came here. So, um, going back to our S3, we want to see whether what we uploaded is showing in our storage. And if I come here, I come to our first client, you can see it over here. So it's showing that, oh, our test.py is showing there. So I created a folder and a file to also test this is working. Our study series, if I do a drop down, we have an example folder, right? The folder can have tons of file. You can, I think, yeah, you can just move the folder in there and it's uploading everything in the folder. I'll come here and refresh it. You'll see the folder here. If you come over here too, once we refresh this pocket, you'll see the folder here. So we're able to connect into that server and put item. We can delete from here, delete this item. To delete it, If you refresh it here, it will delete. And that's because we have the permission on our IAM role. If our IAM role don't have permission to delete, you can only put folder. So you can also do like a you can give it this permission, whatever you want to do. So this just shows us a like simple capability of how to like create uh, uh, transfer family server, how to um, use the S3 storage or the AWS native storage, how to use access control with IAM. You can script it, you can add more functionalities, connect your data with data lake and do analytics on the data. You can connect it with Lambda functions and do a lot of things. So there's a lot of functionalities that you can work with the transfer family. And from just this simple demo, you can see how easy it was to set up. So I believe like we understand how that works now. Um, I don't think anybody should have a problem with setting up a server, SFTP server. So yeah, this comes to the end of my demo, and sorry, this comes to the end of my demo. So go ahead and stop sharing my screen.
All right. Thank you very much, Ifeanyi. Thank you so much. Wow. This was a really insightful session, really enlightening. I'm very sure everybody can agree with me that this was really enlightening. Thank you so much, Ifeanyi, once again for anchoring and hosting this session with us today. We're really excited that you did this with us. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And guys, this is the time. If you have questions, drop it in the chat so that our speaker can answer them. If you have
Sure.
questions, just drop them in the chat right now. And if even if it's not a question, if you just need clarification in a part or you just want to add a comment or few, you can drop them in the chat. Yes. Personally, to me, I really gained a lot from this session. It was really eye opening, it was really enlightening, it was really interesting. Thank you so much once again, if I
Yeah. Okay.
all right, so I'll just be giving us a few minutes because time is fast spent. I'll be giving us a few minutes to drop our questions in the chat. Then we can then move to the quiz session. Guys, I'm sure we all learned something. If you learned something, there was a part that the speaker spoke about that really stuck with you, you can drop them in the chat. I'll be giving us about a minute to do that. Then we can move to the session because we have gone past our time. We can move to the quiz session in a bit. So if you have any questions, okay, I can see here that someone asked the question, what happens if a bulk file sending what happens if a bulk file sending fails? Will transfer family retry or will it stop sending until you manually resend it? Okay, if I that's for you.
Like I mentioned that you can script, right? You can put maybe like a form of let's say event trigger or something where when you try to like push to the server, if there is an error, it will just like oh pick that up and try again, right? So yeah, there is a possibility of like writing a script and automating that process.
Okay, lovely. I hope that answers your question, William. So you can simply write a script to automate the process of retrying a failed data transfer. Another person is asking another question. So person says my question is, does it limit the number of users to be added for access?
Um, I don't think it should, right? It's a server. You can open it up to any users, right? If you want as much as 10 users, you can put it out here. So it doesn't limit. Although I have not tried, when I was working with it, I used the max of like 3 users, right? But it's an interesting thing to go figure out yourself. Try to create more users and see how many users I can. If you go above 20, you just like stop. It shows like you can create anyone you want.
All right. Thank you for that. I hope that answers your question, Divine Justice. Like our speaker said, you can go back and explore it yourself to see if there is a limit. Someone says this is an awesome place to be. I miss the Lord. Yes, this is the best place to be right now. Thank you so much for joining. Another person says, thank you. This was very insightful. Thank you, Debbie, for joining us today. So someone says this was really helpful. Thank you for joining. We are glad that we could help you with this information. Someone says they will definitely be watching and practicing. Yes, that is why we are streaming this and we're recording it. So it's going to be on YouTube. So you can always go back to rewatch and practice in your spare time, right? So that is why it's on YouTube. Yeah. Okay, so if there are no further questions or comments, I guess we can move to the quiz section. So guys, this quiz session is one of the best parts for me, to be honest. So on days that you don't find me moderating, I am there competing for the prize. So use the QR code or the link to join the quiz so that you can stand the chance to compete and win that prize. All right, so nobody has joined yet. We still have 0 players. So we're waiting for you guys to join. Let's join fast so that we can leave on time. Guys, I hope you can see the QR code and the links. We're waiting for you guys to join. This to show who and who was listening. Yeah. Okay, we have 2 players that have joined already. Ranchi, Atom. Okay, we have 4 players now. Nice. The link is on the screen. Join at ahaslides.com. So you can use that link to join. Just input it in your browser or you scan the QR code to join. I can see we have 7 players already. Awesome, awesome. Still waiting for more people to join. If you guys won't join, I'll go back with my prize. Okay, 8 players already. Waiting, join, scan the QR code, input the link in your browser to join. We have 9 players already, so we'll be starting off soon. I'm giving you more times to join. Okay, we have 10 players. Nice, nice, nice. I can already tell this will be competitive. Someone says, please ban Atom. What did Atom do? Okay, we have 12 players. Nice. We have 13 players. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I can see we all listen today and we want to compete. Okay. The players are reducing. All right, so we'll be starting now anyway because of time. So let us start now. All right, let's see who will be going on with the prize today. Okay, so number one question says when configuring AWS Transfer Family for SFTP file transfers, which network port is used as the default connection port to ensure encrypted file transfers? This is an easy one. If you were listening today, you should definitely get this question. Definitely. Let's see how many people will get it. Okay, let's see the answers. Wow, 10 people got it. Plus 22. That is the answer. 10 people got it. Awesome. That means a lot of you were listening. That's nice. That's good. That's great. Awesome. So the next, okay, the leaderboard. Wow, Atom is taking the lead. Just like someone said, Atom has won enough. You people should show Atom today. You people have to beat Atom today. Oh. Okay, so second question. You're working with an external vendor who needs to upload and download files only to the reports folder in your S3 buckets. They should not see any other files or folder. How would you set this up in AWS Transfer Family? Okay. Yes, the speaker also mentioned this. So nobody should be failing this question. Wow, 11 people got it. Okay. The numbers are good. That means it shows that we listened. But remember, it's not just about getting it correctly, it's about speed. And Atom is leading again. Oh, is Mayor number one? Okay, interesting. Atom is below. Wow, interesting. Christiana is like your wish will come true. Okay, third question. Which AWS storage service does Transfer Family supports besides Amazon S3? Let's see how many people will get this question. Remember that it's speed and accuracy that helps you win this quiz. Okay, time is up. Ooh, 9 people. Oh, wonderful. 9 people got the answer. Okay, let's see who's leading now. Atom is back on top. Wonderful. You people are not competing enough for Atom not to win. No. Okay, well done, Atom. All right, next question. AWS Transfer Family requires you to manage underlying EC2 instances for SFTP servers. True or false? This is a very easy one. A really easy one, to be honest. So everybody should get this one. All right, let's see how many people. Wow, 11 people got it. This is very tricky. It's easy but tricky. Just 2 options, true or false. I see. Okay, let's see who's leading now. Wow. Mayor is on top. Atom has gone down to number 4. Okay. I'm loving this. I can sense the competition now. Yes, I'm loving this. Okay. Mayor, Samuel. Let's see if Samuel can top it. So number 5, what is the maximum file size you can transfer via AWS Transfer Family to S3 buckets? Okay. Yes, the speaker also mentioned this. So everybody, if we're paying attention, you should get this one. You should. So let's see how many people will get it. And let's see, because this is the final question. Let's see who will win. Our final winner for today's session. Wow, 6 people. Okay, I see what happened. This is a very tricky question. Only 6 people got it. Okay, let's see what the leaderboards are saying. Wow, Samuel won. Awesome. Samuel, congratulations. Wow. You beat Atom. You beat, oh wow, that's awesome. Congratulations. So Samuel, please take a screenshot as evidence that you won and send your email and the screenshot to the email that is showing at the bottom of the screen. So just send it to our official email and you can claim your prize that way. Christiania is saying, thank God. Christiania, imagine. Atom is Christiania's head that cuts you. Anyway, wow, this was really interesting, everyone. This was really interesting. It was enlightening. It was insightful. It was really awesome to do this with you guys this evening. And with this, we have come to the end of today's session. And we'll also be having another session tomorrow, same time tomorrow. So do well to also join that. So once again, thank you all for joining, and we will call it a day. Good night.